A very good morning to my lovely students. How are you guys doing today? I'm good too, thank you. So the date today is 16 October 2021 and we're doing history. So yesterday we said historians rely on sources in order to study the past. We have primary sources and secondary sources. Today's lesson will be on primary sources as I've already written the topic on the board. So when we talk about primary sources, we talk about first-hand account of an event. These are original materials regardless of format. So please write down the definition before we move on. They are first-hand account of an event. You got that? Okay, that's great. So from just reading the definition, can you come up with some of those examples of primary sources? Okay, yes, Nisha? Histories. Very good. Histories are examples of primary sources. When we talk about histories, we talk about the story tales that our grandmothers usually tell us. Those stories usually contain information about the past. So when historians listen to those stories, they get information about the past. So they use that to study the past. Okay, so do you get the idea? Okay, what are the examples of primary sources do you know about? Yes, Noctula? Songs or music. That's a very good example of primary sources. For example, in Eswatini, we sing different songs, and usually most of the songs carry information about our past. For example, there's this song which says Leli Vengela Dlamini. That song talks about the origin of Emaswati or Eswatini. So if historians listen to these kinds of songs, they get information about the origin of Eswatini. What other examples of primary sources do you know about, or do you know of? Yes, Leander. Very good girl. Photographs and videos. Those are very good examples of primary sources because remember, we say primary sources are first-hand account of an event. Photographs and videos are taken during the course of an event, so they are very good examples of primary sources. I have this photograph on my hand, which it's a picture of the San people. We can tell from just looking at the picture that the San people were hunters or they were gatherers because of what they are doing in the picture. So these are just examples of primary sources. Another example of primary sources can be newspapers. So from what we have just learned, we can tell that primary sources are very important in the study of history, and usually, or most of the time, historians use primary sources to come up with secondary sources. Before we end the lesson, does anyone have a question? No one, which means we all understood. Very good. So today we looked at primary sources and we listed the the examples of primary sources, which we say that those include images, videos, songs, histories, and newspapers. Please go read on secondary sources because tomorrow we'll be looking at secondary sources. Thank you so much for contributing in class. That's a very good thing to do because if you continue doing that, you are sure going to pass this subject. Have a good day. See you guys tomorrow.